I'm going to give you 4 tips on how best to handle your man's heart. And tip number 4, it's a good one, so come on, join me. Tip number 1 is affirmation is everything. For while he may have no earthly idea how to do, like plumbing or electric or something, or changing the oil, he wants to do it. And for you to be there unconditionally supporting him. And that perfectly leads us to today's verse in Proverbs 31:11. Proverbs 31:11 says, "The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of anything good." He feels safe to share his fears, his failures with her. He will not lack anything good. So obviously that includes his wife's words and actions. This line is pretty all-encompassing, isn't it? Tip number 2 is we have to be careful not to tear him down, not to demean him. Interestingly, our words and attitude can feed into his feeling of inadequacy, bleeding into a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we focus on what he does wrong, it undermines his desire to do right. Wait, did you hear that? Let me repeat it for those in the back. When we focus on what he does wrong, it undermines his desire to do right. I'm sure you've heard of wives who complain because their husband doesn't help around the house. But when they do help, the wife complains about how he helped her because he didn't do it the way she does. Her husband thinks he can't win when he does or doesn't, so why try it all? Ephesians 4:32 says, "And be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as God also forgave you in Christ." Kind, compassionate, forgiving. For some reason, it's easy for me to practice those attributes with others and harder to implement in my own marriage. With that in mind, I've got a bonus tip at the end about this verse. Takeaway. When our husbands think we believe in them, they can better tackle what's in front of them. What's your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Tip number 3 encourages us to create a safety zone. I teach girls PE on the side. I know, don't laugh. And some of the games we play have a safety zone, a place where the player can take a breather and re-energize themselves to jump back into the game. This is a similar concept we can think of when it comes to our homes. For our husbands, they too have a place where they feel safe from the world and can be themselves and let their guard down. Our husbands want a place where they can make their mistakes in peace without feeling judged or fear of being exposed. It's totally in our power to create a safe, intimate space. I love how Proverbs 14:1 puts it. It says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands." A wise woman speaks life, beauty, and goodness into her home. The foolish woman, she demeans and mocks and harasses those under her roof. The wise woman builds a safe place. The foolish tears it apart. Any trust for safety. Like this video concept resonates with you. All right, tip number 4. Woohoo! I gave you a teaser at the beginning about this tip, and here it is. Tip number 4 is supportive sex. Yes, you heard me correctly. Supportive sex. We'll talk about sex more in a future episode, but suffice it to say that sex plays a huge role in a man's confidence. A man can fail in every area of his life, but if his wife wants him physically and affirms him in bed, he can handle the world imploding, which, if you haven't turned the news lately, it is. All 3 of our previous verses tie into this being a willing and active part of a healthy sex life. Proverbs 31:11 says, "And he will not lack anything good." God created sex for a marriage bed. It's a good thing to have sex and to have it often with your man. 4:32 says kind and compassionate. A wife is kind and compassionate to her husband's needs when she chooses to make love with her husband often and willingly. And of course, Proverbs 14:1, "A wise woman builds up her house." When I got married a few years ago, an older spunky lady told me the following. She said, "A wife should be a lamb in the kitchen and a fox in the bedroom." A man said it like this in Shanti's survey. says the role of sex cannot be overstated. A great sex life will overshadow and overcome a multitude of imposter messages from the world.
Here you go. Here's your water.